Good morning, Dubai, and welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through all the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. It's Thursday, so we could not be more excited to ring in this weekend with you. Today, our top stories, we're talking about Dubai has approved a third dose of Pfizer for specific individuals. Also, a German Shepherd was given up because of the vet bill. This is another heartbreaking vet story.
We'll also be talking about a satellite that captured the Expo 2020 site and shows just how massive the exhibit really is, and fun things to do around Dubai this weekend, followed by an interview with Jibber. Jibber with Jabber.
AJ from Jibber Jabber, he's in studio. But before we get to it all, a quick reminder that today's show is sponsored by Coca-Cola Arena, because this Saturday, Mummy Troll is coming. They're performing. If you want to be there, it's all for a very good reason. We're going to get to that later in the show. But let's jump into our top stories. Yesterday, the news broke, so if you have Pfizer, this could concern you. The Dubai Health Authority, has approved a third Pfizer-BioNTech dose for individuals who fall under specific categories and are above the age of 12. So take note, the eligible categories include people with moderately to severely compromised immune systems, individuals who have an active tumour and hemolytic malignancy, or have recently received treatment for either, recipients of a solid organ transplant, or patients who have undergone stem cell transplantation, that's HSCT, people who suffer from a severe case of primary immune deficiency, and more categories which you can read on our post on Instagram, which went live. You can just check it. However, it's worth noting the DHA also stated that individuals who are fully vaccinated and do not have an immune disease will not need to take an additional dose of vaccine for now. And now the regulations do differ per emirate. But if you have taken Pfizer, like I have, raise your hand if you're a Pfizer baby. 2 Pfizer babies in the room. So you do not need to get a third dose if you do not have an immune disease. So
this girl is on Pfizer.
I was like, what are you going to do with that?
Stop it!
We have Ali has a new toy.
Take it away from him. Take it away from him.
And he's basically just going to do that whenever
that is unprofessional,
we need to bring ourselves
irresponsible and just ill-mannered.
We need to bring ourselves down a peg or two.
No. Ow, he slapped my hand too.
That would have been so close to the... It's too early.
I'm sorry.
He's not sorry at all. But it's probably needed.
It is, and people on the internet, just yesterday when the news broke out, they were sharing this, and we had this up on our page as well, but without reading the complete update. People were just sharing it like, oh, now they want us to get a third dose. They want everyone to get a third dose. How many doses will we need? But just read the full update before you get panicked over government updates and COVID-19 vaccination updates, because that's where you'll get the full information in the caption. And moving on to our next story, a satellite capture of the Expo 2020 site shows just how massive the exhibit really is. Now, with only 29 days to go, Expo 2020 is all set to take the world by storm. Now, they dreamt it, bid for it, and won on November 27th, 2013. And fireworks painted the sky from the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, as thousands across the UAE celebrated. Now, a national day was even declared for all the educational institutes across the country in celebration of the World Fair coming to the Emirate back in 2013 when we won. Now, in just a handful of weeks, the Expo will officially be upon us. It's been a long, long time, 2013. The preparations have been underway the second we won the bid. And now it's just a couple of weeks away. Now, you know it'll be grand, but a new satellite image of the Expo 2020 site shows just how epic and massive the Expo ground really is, and shots taken by the first entirely Emirati-made satellite, Khalifa Sat, which is a remote sensing Earth observation satellite that was developed and built at the Space Technology Laboratories of Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center in Dubai, shows a bird's eye view of the Grand Expo site in great detail. Now, the picture that was shared by Sarwat Nasir on Twitter shows the Al Wasl Dome bang in the middle, and the Terra canopy standing tall with over 1,055 solar panels. And we keep hearing that the Expo 2020 site is like 1,083 acres big, more than that, but this satellite still really shows the enormity of the plot. And just one site visit will, I think, a week's worth of workout you'll get done when you visit the site. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes. Well, for now, until we get to go and see it. I think like just the magnitude, it's worth noting we're residents, and I expect the likelihood is that we'll probably end up going to Expo site numerous occasions over the 6 months. Like, I'd love to know if there's like a walking tour, like, you know, you could do different pavilions on different days or when you should hit it. But obviously there's pavilions from every country. So actually, if your country has a pavilion and it's got a national day, then I'd probably hold out because each one will celebrate their national day, in a big way at the pavilion. So there'll be loads of different reasons to get you down there. Loads of performances. I was just looking at a quick rundown, you know, all through the holiday period, they'll also have different celebrations. So cannot wait for that to start. Also, yeah, I just want to see, like, maybe we could like rent electric scooters to get around quicker.
Oh my God, they would have that probably. And I feel like it's going to be global village, but you know, those are stalls and stuff, right? And it's going to be like a global village kind of.
The futuristic version of it.
Yeah, grander, futuristic, more innovations and less product selling, I guess.
Who's to know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the countdown is on and we are more than excited. Let's jump in to our next story. The German Shepherd was given up because of the vet bill, but you can actually help. The UAE Stray Dog Centre issued a plea to residents after Athena, it's an absolutely beautiful German Shepherd, was given up by her owners because her vet bill was too high. And now this is another story in the last week of owners of these beautiful animals basically not doing the most to ensure their best health is looked after. So when Stray Dog Centre shared the post, they said, why would you surrender this dog? Basically to avoid the vet bills. And they basically added that Athena's ex-family, who have now given her up, they're not poor, i.e. they could have afforded it, but the vet bills were too high, basically, and they didn't want to pay for it. So Athena suffers from a fever and hip dysplasia and actually needs medical treatment that costs 40k, which of course is a high number. So now Stray Dog Centre are about to incur those costs, which is tricky. You know, these stray dog centres across the UAE are very, very busy. They don't have a lot of money coming through, so they are asking for help. If you want to see how you can help, go on to Stray Dog Centre now. Check the Instagram post. They've given different ways that you can help out. But oh, poor doggy, given up.
Firstly, the article was written so beautifully by Farah, and all the information is there. The Stray Dog Centre, we have embedded their Instagram, so if you want to go check it out there. And she included the bank details as well, so if you want to go ahead and donate. But it's really so putrid. These owners, they should be fined. Like, you take on a member of, like, these pets are a member of the family. You take them on and then you just abandon them, leave them in the balcony. It's just putrid behavior.
100%. The owners should be held to account. And then also, is there something to be said? I actually saw one of the comments was like, now I fully understand why when you adopt through a reputable adoption agency, that there's actually quite a bit of a process to
background check.
Yeah, to take your dog home, because obviously in some cases, when especially with sales of dogs in the UAE, what they'll do is you just need to go sign your check and you can take your dog. However, is there education about the fact that, you know, this is going to be part of your life for the next hopefully 15 to 20 years? So there needs to be much more maybe education around pet ownership.
Honestly. But I mean, what sad human beings, because their dog is suffering from diseases and her bills coming up. Like, you're just gonna abandon her? Like, oh, it's so sad. Like, did it make you want to cry just reading that these animals have to go through owners like this? It's so disgusting.
It is, but as always, shout out to Stray Dog Centre for all of their incredible efforts. They constantly have new bills coming through the door. They're constantly kind of run by volunteers, constantly looking for extra hands, extra resources, extra help. And it's kind of a thankless job because the situation doesn't seem to get better. So well done to them. And if you want more information, check out Stray Dog Centre on Instagram.
Yeah, it's really brilliant, because in the article also Farah writes that vets have so many expenditures, and with a lot of people abandoning their pets and not paying for the costs of medication and treatments, at the end of the day, the vets and the clinics have to take it upon themselves to pay it. So yeah, like Casey said, a huge round of applause for you guys. Moving on, we'll be talking about fun things to do around Dubai this weekend, starting with the weekend sale, of course.
Simran got to check that out yesterday. We're going shopping.
Yes, we are. Casey, the sales are enormous. So malls are gonna see up to 90% discounts across so many retails. high-end brands, low-end brands, and this is happening across MR malls, which is Dubai Mall, Marina Mall, and the Springs Souk. So all nearby malls, go check it out. Amazing.
Get there early because these sales are the big sales. Like Fine Love DSS is going to be absolutely massive. Just get there early if you want to park or take the metro.
Yeah, if you want to get your hands on the good stuff, it starts today, by the way, today until Saturday. So you have a good 3 days to get in all of your, what is it called? Shopping
budget
hauls,
deals,
like
bargains.
When you shop a lot in abundance, whatever. Okay, so moving on. We'll be this weekend. You can also check out art at Times Square Center. So that's September 10th. That's not this weekend. That's September 10th. But it's free entry if you guys want to check it out.
Well, I think art is I believe that they run every weekend, but maybe it's at a different location. But so that's like that arts and crafts market, and it's got a lot of homegrown stuff to buy. But yeah, I think they're most weekends. Just check them out on Instagram if you want to find it out.
Yeah, but Times Square is the place to go if you want to check that out. Then the block, Energize and Enjoy at D3, which is a free entry. A lot of amazing activities happen at D3, and most of the times it's free of cost. So you can camp out there and see what all is popping up. What else? Vroom Vroom, calling all motorcycle fanatics. And this is happening at Warehouse 4 at Al Circle Avenue, and tickets are priced at 60 dirhams. Where you can be checking out really cool motorcycles. First Dubai Motorcycle Film Festival next year. And what else? A lavish day at JW Marriott Marquis.
100%. And then finally, just want to shout out, there's a local theatre company. They're staging a very relevant, fun stage play, and it deals with mental health awareness. And that's happening at Al Circle Avenue, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of September, 7:30 p.m. shows. If you want more information, we're going to have that up on Lovin Dubai later today. Also, something else big happening this weekend. We shouted out at the beginning of the show, but Mummy Troll is coming to the Coca-Cola Arena this Saturday, and it's basically to mark the official launch of Expo 2020's Russian Pavilion cultural program, which sounds absolutely phenomenal. Now, these guys are Russia's most popular indie rock band. They're coming to town and set to perform at Coca-Cola Arena this Saturday, and we are super duper excited. And
they're recognized as one of the most influential indie rock folk with a loyal fan base ranging from Siberia to the Baltics and Mongolia to Shanghai. This is a concert you won't want to miss and will definitely remind you of the old times and how things once were when concerts were irregular. Now, to attend the concert, you will have to show proof of vaccination. Tickets are still on sale. You can get them on coca-colaarena.com and probably in other places. So do check that out. And if you're going on Saturday, snap your pics, tag us on Lovin Dubai so we can reshare them. As always, we have an interview. We're super excited about it. But this is quite a momentous occasion. We have our first ever birthday shout out for you, the viewers. This is a shout out to Ahnad Singh, who's turning 36 today. A massive happy birthday to you from us at Lovin Dubai. Yes, happy birthday. Are we going to sing?
Happy birthday to you. What?
No,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ahnad. Happy birthday to you. I need to stop you right there because I know that Simran had something else in mind when she said that, because she was like, I could see her mind being like, why did everyone actually start singing?
No, when it started, I'm just like, that is quite cringe. Maybe we should just like stop and move on.
We need buzzers.
Yes. Yeah, I think we should just buzz this.
It's our first one. Guys, if you want birthday shout-outs on the show, please let us know. We have all the time in the world to do them. So
exactly.
What else are we doing here?
If you want a cringe birthday shout-out, we are your gals.
We are literally your people. Don't know, no one could do it better than us.
Right?
Reckon, yeah. Or I could sing alone, and then you could sing alone. That would be special too, I'm sure. Okay. That would be watchable.
Let's do that for Ahnad. No?
However, Ahnad, these shout-outs came in for your incredible wife, Gurpreet. She messaged us over the last couple of days. You can see your photo if you're watching on Facebook beside us, by the way. Your photo's right here. Massive happy birthday, and we hope you have a fabulous weekend. I wish my birthday was on a Thursday.
Oh, next year. Hopefully.
Okay, stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to be joined by one of the most popular podcasters in the region. AJ of Jibber with Jabber fame is on the show in about 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Right now, we are joined by one of the most popular podcasters in the region. We have AJ of Jibber with Jabber fame on the show. Welcome to the show.
How you doing? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a big fan, big fan.
Oh, thank you very much. Same. How does it feel to be the one interviewed?
It's actually very strange to be on the other side.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Usually I've got all the questions and I see the guests and I'm judging how they're feeling kind of thing. And on this side I'm just like, what are they going to ask me? It's different. It's very, very different. And I usually record very late as well. I record in the evening at 8 p.m. So getting up today was like, oh, I can see the sun in the morning. It's really strange for me.
Why do you always record at 8 p.m?
I think for me, the guest has kind of done everything they need to do in the day. They've had their dinner, they're relaxed, they're kind of, not rushing around. So it's then because, my podcast is very kind of light-hearted, kind of friendly, banter kind of thing. So I tend to be really relaxed and not worried, oh, I've got a meeting later or what time is it going to finish or these kind of things,
So you want just people to be chill and set that type of mood.
Yeah.
To give people a bit of a rundown about who you are, can you kind of explain what you do?
So we have a podcast here in Dubai where we interview celebrities and people of interest and also what I like to do is kind of highlight the community in Dubai. So it could be someone who doesn't have many followers at all, but is so interesting because people are just generally so interesting. And, there's a misconception that people only want to see people who have 1 million followers and stuff like that. But some of my best interviews have been with people with 1,000 followers. So that's really interesting.
Of course, and it's something that we try and do here as well, just to find the people of society whose stories aren't getting shared. But your most interesting maybe were people with less followers, but when was the first time that you saw that your podcasts were actually getting heard? And when did you start? So take us back to when you started.
So initially I used to be a personal trainer for the last 20 years. It was what I was doing out here. The pandemic came and then I realized, so we're not allowed to go anywhere. We're not allowed, and this is kind of stopped now. We can't do anything. And I've always been a big fan of podcasts, listening to them all day. The Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, Carl Pilkington, who's my spirit animal. By the way.
I love those guys so much.
I couldn't sleep without listening to them. So it would literally play all night, and my wife.
Carl Pilkington is a spirit animal. Yeah. Interesting.
He's amazing. You can't write that stuff. He's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I would also do it, and then I thought people are just so interesting, and I always love doing that. Is that
Sorry,
on?
are we okay?
Is it on?
Oh no.
No, it's not.
Bear with us for a sec. So just hold it down. Oops. Sorry, I hope you could hear. Go again, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So I always listen to podcasts and that kind of stuff. So it was really kind of interesting for me to kind of do it. And like I said, I'm very social and people are just generally very interesting. The human mind is amazing. And to just be able to kind of talk to somebody and hear their view on life, because we're all kind of trotting along trying to figure out what this whole thing is. And it's really cool to kind of to get another perspective on what this all is.
And let's say in terms of like you said today was different for you coming in, how did you actually prepare for today versus how you prepare for your other interviews?
For my ones, it's kind of, I kind of know them, so it's, you know, some of them are my friends, so I have a lot of friends who are celebrities and these stuff, so I kind of know what to judge them. For today, I literally just made sure that I woke up on time. That was my main thing. I was like, set 5 alarms.
That's all you needed to do.
Yeah, and that was it. I mean, I've always been very social, so I don't get nervous in these kind of situations, so that's kind of cool. That kind of worked on my side, in my favor. But yeah, that's.
What about like podcasts in the UAE? What's the scene like for podcasters?
I was just talking to Rich about this. It's going to be huge. I can see it really growing. I think the main problem with us right here is people are still a bit kind of like just trying to promote themselves. Where I was on another podcast, a friend's podcast, Crossover the XP with Freak, the rapper out here, and we were talking about how we should all be promoting each other and jumping on each other's podcasts and exchanging these kind of things, because if you look in America and England, that's what they do. You see the Joe Rogan podcast, I now know 15 other podcasts because they went on his show and vice versa. So I think it's really important for us as a community to kind of all mix and match. And I was telling Rich he needs to come on my show and we talk about the loving the journey and all that kind of stuff, you know? I think it's really important to kind of all connect together and show that there is a community and build a community out here and support each other.
Nice. Talk about your interview style, because you said you like to do like an 8 p.m. interview. It's very it's very chill. But then at the same time, you've thrown in some stunts there, right? So tell us about some of the stunts that you've done and the purpose behind them.
Stunts, you mean like
interesting podcast locations and scenarios?
Yeah, so well, with Freak, I decided that I wanted to do something very different. So we had a connection with Dinner in the Sky, and so we spoke to Guinness World Records and said, well, let's do this episode 50 meters in the air, hanging off a table.
Nice.
Which was really interesting. And
the audio quality was incredible, by the way, I have to say.
My team is, you know, shout out to the team. It was very, very strange for him because he didn't actually realize how high we were going. So
I've never been up there.
Yeah, he thought it was just like, oh, we're going to go up a bit, but we were literally like, you know, 50 meters in the air. It was amazing. I did another one with a guy called Mr. Ice out here, who you guys should all check out. This guy's incredible. So he sat in -2 ice for an hour of the podcast. I made it 25 minutes.
For an hour?
Yeah.
Sorry, you made it 25. That's
I did. I was really impressed myself.
I'm really cool to give it.
And it was so. I was sitting there shivering, and I was, and to the point, like 25, about 15 minutes, he was like, "You need to get out before you die." And I was just like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna be all right." But then after that, like my questions weren't coming out. I was like, "So why did you?" And then I was like, "Okay, let me get out." So I sat out. But he's going for a 3-hour world record in ice.
Wow.
So again, these kind of people. It's really interesting to show these people, and if I have to get in the ice with them to to do it, because it wouldn't have been fun if I was just sitting there the whole time and he was doing it. So I had to kind of jump in, and I think that's the kind of thing I want to do. Maybe the 4th episode of when the weather gets better of every month, we'll do something. Maybe one in the desert or one in somewhere else.
But it's interesting because it's a very typical podcast interview because it's quite long and you can really just kind of it's a long chat, right? Yeah. But then when you introduce these things, it becomes like, is it nearly like a YouTube type style of like getting people's attention for the chat? Is that type of, do you think that's the future of podcasting, or is this just type of your style that you enjoy to do?
I couldn't tell you. I really enjoy doing it, and I think it does also bring something new to the viewers that, okay, where's he going to be this month? At the end of the month, it could be a surprise kind of, you know, who knows? We might do one riding camels just like for the whole.
I'm disappointed we didn't think of doing one.
You know, maybe that's how we'll do our one. We'll do it underwater in the pool. The new one. I don't know how the audio is going to work.
Well, they have a compression tank in Deep Dive Dubai. Yeah.
See, I like all that kind of strange stuff. So
I think it's really a little bit. Love Deep Dive Dubai. It's a little bit. It's got an interesting scent when you go in. Yeah. So they say you shouldn't stay there for like more than 10 minutes. It's probably not podcast material, but anyway.
So yeah, that's that kind of thing, just to keep innovating and kind of do things that, the most important thing is it's got to be fun. You know, I did one with May the other day, a friend of mine. It was a live show in front of 60 people in the theatre. So we did it in the Paramount Hotel. There was literally people there like with popcorn watching the show. So that was also strange as well for me.
Very cool.
Very weird experience, because I'm used to being one-on-one inside, no one else is kind of there, but there was actually people laughing and an audience who was watching, so I had to be very kind of conscious about the other people. So it's very interesting.
Did you enjoy the experience of having, because I do think that for podcasters, that's also like the future avenue is doing these live shows that people come, and then it becomes like a show as much as a private podcast.
I think so. I think it, again, everything, the world's our oyster. We could do anything, and especially being in Dubai, because every week there's like a strange thing that isn't anywhere else.
And
so
people.
we could do that. Yeah, and people as well. And they're the guests, and that's why I like having them on. But yeah, we've had really great guests. You know, big comedians from America and some real legends, like Royce Gracie, who just came on, who won UFC 1, and you know, basically his family created Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So everyone was going crazy from my Jiu-Jitsu friends were like, "This is, do you know who you're talking to?" kind of thing. Like, this is a legend. So yeah, it's humbling and very cool to have all these cool guests on there.
It's incredible. Even May, we had her on the show and I was away, but like the team just said her personality was incredible. And the thing is with your podcast, you speak to everyone, like you said. Like there's no specific industry that you're targeting. There's no niche. It's just a chat with the person. So any of your guests, who has kind of I guess entertained you the most or given you maybe like the biggest laugh?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. Laugh-wise, obviously it would be somebody like Maz Jabrani, who's a very, you know, who's a legend in his own right, a comedian. And also sometimes I do them with my friends. So people who nobody knows.
I love that,
they're just so interesting. So a friend of mine, Mirza, he's just a character. Like his life, you couldn't write any of it. So, and we've known each other for 30 years. So obviously that kind of connection with the banter is very natural kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I'd say. I've had just very interesting guests as well. Yesterday I had the first Arab to walk to the magnetic North Pole and the first Arab to row the Atlantic.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a British military and was raised in England. And the stories they tell you, sometimes you're just like, wow.
But it's incredible to share these stories. So my next question was going to be, who has kind of sat down and shocked you? Who has surprised you?
I think a guy called Nader Sabri. He's the first Arab to be in the NASA Hall of Fame. He created the equipment that they could use both in space and here, and he kind of mixed all together.
NASA Hall of Fame, I mean, that's crazy.
It's crazy. NASA, as well. And he's also a growth hacker. So he does these growth hacks where he'll completely change people's businesses. Like, and he'll talk to you, and then you're like, how did I not think of that? But to him, you can see, he's like Elon Musk, like he's talking to you, but you can see his brain working so fast.
Wow.
And you're just like, yeah, there's a lot going on in there. And just his whole episode, I was just like, I don't really have much to say, keep going, just keep going. You know, he was an FBI informant when he was 14 years old. He started...
Sorry, say that again?
Yeah, when he was 14 years old. So he started basically Calgary or Canada Online, which was basically the internet service provider of Canada at the time. Just very interesting characters. It's amazing.
It is incredible, and like it's all on Jibber with Jabba on Instagram. But let's say, for example, for you in the future of the podcast, do you kind of have a strategy? Do you have, let's say, like people that you bucket list for podcasters, or are you just kind of enjoying the process?
Right now, I'm enjoying the process. I mean, we're on all of the, the YouTubes and the social media, so everyone can find us everywhere. But I kind of like I like to book my guests in advance, but I also like to be surprised. So sometimes I might see somebody who's coming to the country, and I'd be like, "Ooh, that would be a very interesting episode." And it's very surprising how you can message some of these people that you would think are unreachable, and they're very humble, and they're just like, "Okay, cool, where's the studio?" And you're like, it's like I never thought, you would. I just DM'd you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So they looked at the page and they thought, "Oh, this looks pretty cool."
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, "Oh, no, it's in Joel T." You're like, "Yeah, we can do it tomorrow." And yeah, you'd be so surprised at how people are genuine, and they would just like to come and have a chat.
Are people ever nervous about, I guess with a podcast, it's very much a no holds barred format. Like you can edit it later, but I'm sure you probably don't give people that.
I don't edit anything. Yeah.
No, but like, are people concerned going into an hour-long podcast about topics that could be brought up?
No, I think not. I wouldn't do. I do ask them, is there any no-nos that you definitely don't want to talk about? Because I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. But generally, the most thing I get is, before, people who aren't used to doing them, they go, "We're going to talk for an hour." and they think it's a really long time.
Yeah.
And then I'm closing the episode, and I'm like, "Thanks for coming in, guys." And they're like, "Oh, are we done?"
Yeah.
Like they want to go on for another hour, kind of thing. So I think people get surprised themselves of how much they want to actually talk themselves.
Who is your favorite podcaster?
I mean, it's got to be Uncle Joe, right? Joe Rogan is he's the pioneer. He's the ultimate guest, to be honest. And then I have other ones who Theo Vaughn, Bobby Lee, comedians. I really like to watch comedy podcasts, which is strange because I'll be in the gym training, just bursting out laughing, and people will be looking at me thinking, "What's going?" He's not taking this very seriously, but that's what's playing in my ear instead of music. So they're the ones that are really
your faves.
My faves, yeah, and obviously the Ricky Gervais podcast is just unmatched.
Yeah. It's just interesting with podcasts because I think it's a habit forming thing, and it's always a word of mouth. So it's like spread your favorite podcast, let people know your favorites, and then they'll tell you yours, and then it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if you're not podcast fans, guys, what should you be listening to?
Jibber with Jabber.
Jibber with Jabber, and also the Lovin Dubai show.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for your time today. You didn't come far, right? Because I think you're nearby.
I'm around the corner. I'm in the green, so I just.
Oh, me too. Springs, same.
Same.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on, and we need to get you on ours as well.
100%. I'm liking the deep dive Dubai compression tank.
Let's do it.
Maybe ready. Just so I can go back. Guys, thank you so much. That was it for us on the Lovin Dubai show. Shireen will be here with you tomorrow morning, and we'll be back on Sunday, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands.